Hey, it's me, Raika. Today we're going to have a look at the brand new dimensional hero Rem, the Demon Maid. Now, this hero wears plate-based gear, is part of the warrior class, and their primary role is to provide a massive amount of damage, control, and can provide invincibility for your allies when they take fatal damage. So let's have a look at her skills. Her ultimate skill, Demon Form. Rem enters her demon form for a duration and swings her Morning Star several times. Her Morning Star is the weapon that she carries, damaging nearby enemies multiple times. In demon form, Rem deals extra damage and drains energy from all enemy heroes every 2 seconds. So this drain is 10 energy points from all enemy heroes every 2 seconds. If Rem uses her ultimate while already in demon form, the effect of her current Morning Star swings will be enhanced, increasing their damage and knocking the targets airborne. Level 2. While in demon form, Rem's normal attack speed is increased and parts of the damage she deals will be converted into healing for herself. So this is a total of 20 points of attack speed and 40% of the damage done will be converted into healing. The level 3, the energy Rem drains from all enemy heroes is increased to 15 points every 2 seconds. And the next ability, Morning Star. Rem uses a Morning Star to smash the enemy who has dealt the highest total damage, damaging the enemy and knocking them back, and reducing their energy by a total of 250 points. So this is a quarter of an enemy's full energy bar. If the enemy is knocked to the edge of the battlefield, they will take additional damage equal to 150% of their attack rating and are stunned for 1 second. The level 2, the damage is increased to 250%, level 3 to 300%, and the 4 unlock, the energy reduction is increased to 300 points. So this is a pretty significant amount of energy that Rem over here can essentially remove from the enemy who has dealt the most amount of damage. So this is a pretty significant debuff that she can apply to the enemies. Her next ability, Healing Mana. Rem uses Healing Mana to instantly heal the allied hero of the lowest health and grant them a shield. When she does this, the healing mana's effects linger for a time, increase the healing the allied hero receives and the healing them for every second. So this essentially lasts for 4 seconds, increase the healing by 20 points, and 40% of Rem's attack rating will be healed to the ally every second for 4 seconds. The level 2, the initial healing is increased to 15% of the ally's max health. Level 3, 20% of the ally's max health, and the 30 engravings, the healing mana's effects now linger for 8 seconds. So this is a double duration from 4 all the way to 8, and the heal is increased to 80% of Rem's attack rating per second. Her next ability, Demon Tribe, which is a passive. Rem's attack rating is permanently increases the more her allies take damage. For every 1% of their max health an ally loses, Rem's attack rating is increased by 2% up to 200% of Rem's initial attack rating. The level 2, the limit is increased to 300% of Rem's attack rating. The level 3, for each allied hero that dies, Rem permanently gains 10 points of haste. So this can be a total of 40 points of haste if all of the allies die. And the level 4, for each allied hero that dies, Rem permanently gains 20% damage reduction. So essentially, if all 4 allies die, this is 80% damage reduction, haste permanent buff, and a significant amount of attack rating buff for her. So let's have a look at her signature item, the Demon Survivor. When you unlock this signature item, all damage Rem deals with a Morning Star, which is a weapon, is increased by 10%. The level 10, all damage Rem deals with a Morning Star is increased by 20%, and 75% of the additional damage ignores enemy shields. Level 20, all damage that she deals with a weapon is increased to 30%, and the 30 out of 30 unlock while Rem is in demon form or her ultimate skill. 100% of the damage dealt by her ultimate ignores enemy shields. So this is pretty significant to essentially negate any defenses that the enemy may have. So let's have a look at her furniture. Now this is the main reason why I would build this specific hero, is because of her furniture, Almighty Maid. When you unlock the 3 out of 3, when an allied hero takes fatal damage, so this is a kill effect on your allied hero, they will immediately receive the effects of healing mana. So this essentially heals them over time and heals them for either a certain percentage of their max health. They will become immune to damage for 0.5 seconds. This effect can only be triggered by each ally once per battle. And the 9 out of 9, the healing mana skill will be triggered when an allied hero takes fatal damage, and also it will restore 500 points of energy to them. So this is essentially half of their energy bar. So essentially this will allow him to use their ultimate almost immediately as soon as they take fatal damage. So let's have a look at how this hero does in battle. Now, because this hero is extremely strong at dealing damage to the enemies, I would highly recommend placing this specific hero on the front line. Now, another hero that would work extremely well with Rem over here would be either Scrag to essentially invade the enemy lines, or Kaniso and Rook to essentially group the enemies so she can deal more damage to the enemies. So let's place a couple of allied heroes alongside her. There we go, we've placed our allies, and let's begin battle. Now, as soon as we start battle, she'll walk onto the field and start slamming them over here. Now she slammed the Citrona all the way back into the enemy half. So as we can see, now she's in a demon form and one-shotting all the enemies with her ultimate skill. Now, as we can see, she did a bombardment with her weapon called Morningstar, and this essentially one-shotted all the enemies with a single ultimate skill. Now, as we can see over here, she did a significant amount of healing, even though she is only a warrior. In addition, she took most of the damage and did all of the damage for her allies. So let's have a look at how she does at a much higher level deficit. Now, this is a 200 level deficit. Now, as we can see over here, I've placed her alongside in a dimensional heavy based team. And we can see from this, she did a massive amount of damage to the enemies. Now, I would recommend placing her in invade based teams. The reason for this is she'll provide a massive amount of support for her allied heroes by knocking them back, healing your allies, and providing a bit of healing and shields for your teammates. And then if she's able to use her ultimate skill, she in some cases can one-shot a couple of enemies within a couple of seconds. So this is an invade heavy team where we have Tresnel and Awakened Brutus both knocking the enemies back and essentially controlling the enemies. As we can see over here, this is another control heavy base team with Mehira over here, charming the enemies and allowing Rem to do massive amounts of damage. Then we have another team over here. Now this is the Auna Grizzle base team. We have extremely sturdy frontline tanks, and essentially your backline allied heroes can deal most of the damage. And as we can see in this specific team formation, Rem over here did even more healing than a support such as Silas. So let's have a look at how she does in this specific battle formation. Now, we don't have any other damage dealers in this team besides Grizzle and Matria over here. Now, as we can see, she's currently slamming their enemies and she's getting ready to use her ultimate skill. Now, she's going to leap into the air. Any second, there we go, she goes into a demon form, starts slashing all the enemies, summons a bombardment of Morningstar weapons on the enemies, and is nearly able to one-shot the entire enemy team, leaving them on a couple bits of HP points. There we go. We have claimed victory over the opponent and we have done a massive amount of damage. So what is the minimum investment that I would recommend into this specific hero? Now, firstly, I would recommend getting her 9 out of 9 furniture. Now, you can place her on your wish list as of now and start building up her furniture cards already, as this will provide you a massive buff when you are able to get this specific hero at the exchange point. Now, I would recommend getting her 9 out of 9 furniture, as this will provide the immunity and the additional energy for your allies. In addition, I would also get her 30 out of 30 signature item, as this allows her to deal more damage. And as we can see from these specific tests that I've done on 200 level deficit, she essentially can ignore enemy shields, allowing her to deal more damage to the enemies, as we can see over here from her 30 out of 30 unlock. Now, I would also recommend getting her 30 engravings, as this will allow her to deal more damage. In addition, from the passive stats, this will also increase the amount of healing to 8 seconds and also 80% of Rem's attack rating per second. So what this means, this will give your allies more survivability. So if you have another support who's maybe struggling with the healing, Rem can provide additional support and can provide that off healing and a bit of shield for your allies so they can survive and they can be as effective as they possibly can be. Now, I would not necessarily recommend getting her 60 engravings. However, this, if you would like to make her your damage dealer or your main carry for your specific team, this might prove effective as this will give her 80% damage reduction. However, if you have a well-built or well-rounded team that can provide necessary support, healing, shield, and so forth, this will essentially not be needed for allow her to deal the maximum amount of damage that she can.